Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we have with us Abigail Tiefenthaler. She is the founder of the Collaborators Collective. It's a community of women, business owners who want to grow together. Welcome to the show, Abigail. I'm really excited to chat with you about what you got going on over there. So welcome.
I'm excited to be here, Jill. Thank you.
So what motivated you to start this collective?
I'm in a business partnership. I have a business partner who's in Minnesota. I'm in Tennessee, and we met about 6 years ago and went into partnership a little over 4 years ago. Earlier this year, we started just putting out the concept that we'd like to do more collaborations, true collaborations, not email swaps or summit guest spots or any of that, but actually two companies coming together to create a new offer or a new event. And we got into a collaboration that was very successful, and that turned into the Collaborators Collective, because we were getting a lot of people saying, well, I want to collaborate with you. I want to collaborate. How do you do it? What do you need? And so there were so many questions coming up. We thought, let's get it started. And there's no one else in the industry right now that we can find that's purposely helping, especially women, coaches, speakers, consultants, get into collaborations. We talk about it. I say it's the throwaway word of 2023. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of logistics that surround it, and there's a lot of fear of being vulnerable with another business person. So it seemed like it would be a good idea for us who've done them successfully, as well as understand the logistics behind them as marketing and salespeople.
So what kinds of things would people collaborate on? You're right when you say that it's the 2023 throwaway word. Everybody talks about collaborating, but really when you dive deep into what the word means and your thoughts around how to collaborate effectively with another person or another business.
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, one is a good collaboration is two people who actually work in the same space, right? So their target audience is the same. They both may be digital marketers, but maybe one has the expertise around Facebook engagement and another person focuses on LinkedIn visibility. So they would be good to come together because they bring that next level of understanding around social media, right? So it elevates the conversation a little. Let's look at health and wellness. Maybe somebody who's a nutritionist coming together with somebody who's more into yoga or weight training or something like that, where they could come together. The definition of a collaboration is two people coming together to create one offer or event. So the nice thing about it is that it can have a beginning, middle, and end. Right? It doesn't have to go on in perpetuity for the rest of the world, rest of everyone's life. So around January, perfect time for people in the wellness space to come together, or people in that social media space to come together, because people are looking in January, February, March, especially, to change up what they're doing from 2023 as we transition to 24.
Yeah, I think really you can collaborate at any time during the year. And to me,
Right.
collaborating is really offering your clients an expanded offer where you might specialize in one thing. If you can collaborate with somebody who's got a similar, who's in a similar niche that offers something different. And I've interviewed so many coaches, everybody does something different. You both could be doing weight loss,
Right.
and believe me, you're going to bring different elements to the table. It just, that's the way it is. Everybody
Exactly.
is different and unique. And when you both come together and you share your audiences and you offer them something even more spectacular, because you're bringing the uniqueness you both have together to create something even greater, but also unique. It
Exactly.
it can be a marvelous thing.
Well, and here's the other thing is we talk to a lot of women who don't necessarily want to ultimately get into a collaboration, but they want to be in that community of collaborative energy. So
Mhm.
we have the opportunity to share best practices without that fear around competition and scarcity and, you know, all those mind games that we are so good at playing.
Exactly. Excuse me, I got like something in my throat. um,
You okay?
so yeah, I am. Actually, I'm gonna take a drink of water.
Okay.
Bear with me just a second. There, I think I'm better now.
Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
can see that often when people start thinking about collaborating, there's all those fears that can show up. What if they steal all my stuff? You'll make new
Exactly.
stuff.
I'm
And
with you on that.
uh, you're going to put your stuff out there. It's going to get stolen. It's going to get manipulated. It's going to get changed. It's not going to be the same as what you're teaching, because they're going to put their own
It's
filter
not
on
you
it.
teaching
Yeah, it's not
right.
you.
Exactly.
So you really need to just get over that fear. But I recognize that it is a fear that people do have when they start thinking about collaborating, and then money comes into the picture, because everybody's always afraid. Oh my God, I'm not going to get my share.
Right.
In my
And you
opinion,
and go ahead. No, sorry.
just let it go. Put some contracts together, figure it out on paper, what you want it to look like before you decide to do this thing, not after.
Exactly. Exactly. And here's the thing. I think it's contagious. I think there are logistics that need to be addressed ahead of time. If you decide to come up with a custom logo, who owns it? If you're accepting payments, who's taking it? How are you splitting the money? How are you splitting the delivery of whatever it is that you're offering? Are you using your client portal or theirs? So there's, steps to navigate as you're doing them. And I think, again, as women, especially, it's important to help them understand that you have to release a lot of those fears and a lot of those worries about all of those little things that, it's like dating, right? I mean, most of us have been on more than one date in our life, and some of them were really great people, but there was just something that was never going to move forward. Other times you had maybe not so great people that you knew weren't going to go forward. So it's about identifying, being open to relationship and identifying what it is you really need to complete you. And
and
so
and talking about it.
in talking about it, yeah. I mean, as a strategist, to me, all of the best part of your business is done in that thinking phase, right? Versus being a a tactician where all of it's done in the execution. And I think that in today's world, we often think, act, like we often think, act, plan instead of think, plan, act. And so we get surprised and frustrated when something doesn't happen because we never put that scenario into the conversation. Well, what happens if? We never create those what if trains, right?
And beforehand, before you start getting out there and talking to people and using words like I feel or I felt or it feels to me like, and being vulnerable with that other person, but being real. It's, if you have boundaries, let them know what your boundaries are. If you have things that you're really good at and you feel like that's where you should be driving the train, you need to let them know, hey, this is my area of expertise. I'm really good at this piece. What are you really good at? And figure those little pieces out before you start just jumping in and taking all kinds of action, and
because you can
then
be
having
passive,
problems.
right? You can be a dramatist. You can do a lot of different things. So it is a matter of having those conversations up front. And that's what we want to do, is facilitate it. We do, the main core of our business is as sales closers. We provide fractional sales closers to different clients in the coaching and digital marketing sphere. And we have to find the right salesperson for the right client, and the client has to agree and the salesperson has to agree. So it's important to, understand those relationships. And here's the thing. I think both Tammy and I come from pretty successful relationships. We have proven track record. We've been partners for 4 years. We're both married 30 plus years to the same man. We both have children that we have good relationships with. So understanding that not all women have the privilege and the honor and the blessing of that support or that experience, we're able to help them see maybe they need to do this, or maybe they need to do that. Because one of the first things is really getting collaboration ready. And that's a logistics and a mindset conversation, right? Then you're ready to get partners and identify how do you want to collaborate, potential collaborations. Then you go into the logistics and navigating of the process. But so many people just want to jump right into the process.
This is never a good idea.
No, but it happens. And so our job is to make them realize that failure is fatal. And it's also to make them realize that, just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean it won't work in the future.
Yeah. And to analyze what went right and what went wrong with it, so that you can, the next time you decide to do something like that, you have an idea of the things that do work and don't work. It's like sometimes people get into second marriages and it's way better than the first one.
Right. Or they repeat the exact same pattern and have another failure. So, right. So, yeah.
Pattern recognition struggles.
Yeah.
You try to avoid that in life. So how do people find you, and how do they join your group, and how does that look?
Yeah.
What goes on in your group?
So what's interesting about our group is it is not a restrictive group. We want everybody to be interacting with each other. So it's a free private Facebook group right now. It's called the Collaborators Collective, and you can find it on Facebook. We do a training once a month. So we do, actually, this past month, it was on clarity. We do a training the second Monday of every month. And then we do a live networking the third Monday of every month. And then our goal is really to get the community to interact within the community, where so many groups, it's the moderator that decides everything, or is the only one that can post. And we don't do that. We want the community engaging, and we're a small group. So I think it's pretty phenomenal, the level of engagement that's actually happening in the group as we grow. We will be launching a membership actually later on this month, and the membership will have some additional benefits, like a complete directory. It will also have a private, like small little matchmaking sessions, and then some guest experts coming into it. So, the goal is really get them interested in the idea of a collaboration and then help them navigate however we want, however we can.
So the directory would be for people that are interested in collaborating with other people, and it would tell people what would be included in the directory, I guess is my question.
Well, there's the collective, which is free. So it has the free training, the free membership, and the community within a Facebook world, right? As much as we can do within Facebook. And then Kickstart is the name of the membership. And the additional things is a more comprehensive directory, some matchmaking that will go on, small intimate groups, maybe health and wellness coming together, maybe digital, marketing services coming together. So, how you've been in a networking community before where everybody gets thrown into a room because that's how Zoom breaks you up. Mm-hmm. But there's, there might be one or two people you really want to talk to, but you may never get into their room because the algorithm on Zoom just randomly chooses who, where these will be more purposeful.
I like that. Can you use Zoom? Can you actually have people pick which room they want to go in? Like if you had a menu of rooms?
I am not, I have only ever been assigned a Zoom room, and I am not a Zoom person. So, meaning that I'm like one of the least techie people you'll ever meet. So I don't know really how extensive the Zoom community is, but one of the things that I know is that I've been in networking meetings before where I'll meet somebody, I'll see somebody, and it's like when I hear their 32nd or something, I'm like, oh, I want to get to know them. Then we go into a networking, then we go into a breakout room, and like we may do it 2 or 3 times and I never end up with that person. So these will be more purposeful.
Yeah, I've been to networking events. I've been to networking events like that, and sometimes it's just easier if you can get all their information in the main networking thing. Like I'm madly taking notes, and then reach out to them later. Stalk them on Facebook or LinkedIn.
And that's often what happens. But in the moment, you're like, oh, I at least want to just meet her or him or whatever. So the idea is to have more focused types and intimate types where we're not going into breakout rooms, but maybe all 10 or 12 people on the call are really having an opportunity to get to know each other. Because I don't know who Jill wants to be matched to, or until we have that deeper conversation, right? So that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, I'm already over here thinking, oh, I got people I need to cook you up with.
Well, thank you.
And after we're done here, I'm going to.
Thank you.
So, I know that you offer a checklist for people that join your group, kind of as an incentive to pop over there and see what you got going on.
Yep, we do. It's called the collaboration checklist. And there's some other things that we have in the group as well. But the collaboration checklist is really a good primer to see if a collaboration even is something you want to consider. And again, just simply being in a community that has collaborative energy, not competitive energy or scarcity mindset, but just like, let's figure it out. Let's find a way. Something's possible. It can be refreshing in today's world.
Yeah, just getting to know other people doing different things out there. You never know when you're going to need somebody's help. And when somebody's going to have an idea that's just like, it sends you on a trajectory that you never imagined you were going to go on. But it was just because, you decided to get in this group.
Yeah, the brain trust possibilities are so crazy. And I've been lucky enough, I'm a part of eWomen Network, which is a North American organization. I run the Knoxville chapter in Tennessee. And I love some of the principles. It's a value-based membership program, and I love some of the principles because we get on a small strategic business introduction, and it is all about sharing best practice. It is not about saying, well, when you work with me, you will, but it's about, no, we really need to take care of the email issues that are happening because of what's going on in the industry. Like, we're bringing things up and people are like, oh, I've never even heard of it or thought of it, or yeah, that's a great idea. Have you ever tried doing this? And we're there providing support and ideas that don't overwhelm, but are tied to the question or opportunity they have. Right? So how do we solve this challenge?
And when you
so
get,
it's cool.
And when you get more women minds together, the solutions are like phenomenal, because you're getting it from so many different perspectives that, the answer is going to be a unique, again, that collaboration that gives you the unique offer, that's solution, offer, whatever. That piece that you end up with is just amazing.
Yeah, it is really fun to watch and fun to be a part of, because there's really nothing better than seeing a light bulb moment in somebody when they say, I've never thought of it that way, or wow, how simple, I'm overcomplicating it, or I don't need to do this. Are you giving me permission to not have to do A, B, or C? Yes, I am. I'm telling you, you do not need to do 15 different social media platforms, and I think sometimes we just need to hear it from somebody else, even though intuitively we're pretty brilliant on our own, but we don't use it. Right?
What do somebody else take my advice? Yeah. We just need somebody to say it's okay.
Exactly. It's simple. I mean, what I was going to say is, what do they say? Take my advice. I'm not using it anyway.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope this helps a little bit, and that there are communities and there are networks where everything isn't all about selling, but it's about coming together for the right reasons and being in a place where you feel supported.
I think the selling happens and the money comes, but it's more because people are like, they're genuinely interested in getting your help because you've already helped them a certain amount to begin with. And they're like, wow, look at this. This is really great. And I think I can get more of it. And if you have enough, I hate to say enough offers, but if you have enough ways that people can work with you that matches, their needs with what you are already doing, without having to like go and create a whole new program just for them, because that's never really a good idea. But if you can help them find a way to work with you that's within their budget and really can get them amazing results, you're going to end up with clients.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, a lot of people talk about sales, and to many people, it's an icky topic. With Tammy and I met doing sales contracts. That's why we have a fractional agency that's growing. So then people will say, well, don't sell, but serve. Here's the thing. Don't sell, solve. I think solving is a much better word, because again, you're not coaching necessarily, because you don't want to do that. If you fix a problem, somebody doesn't need you anymore until the next problem, but they don't know there's going to be a next problem at that moment. The concept of solving is, the idea of, if you give a person a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they eat for the rest of their life. And that's the idea is, let's share the things we know, because after however many years we've all been in the business world, or I've been in the marketing and client development space for 40 plus years. I grew up in the industry. My dad was a madman. My mother had a marketing company that she ran in the 60s out of her home. So I truly understand marketing as a discipline that is completely separate from sales, but completely dependent on the outcomes of both, right? They're so interconnected. And when you get somebody who's like not trying to sell you an 8-week course with 15 templates that's going to meet on Tuesdays, now we can relax and we can have the conversation. Well, is this, is what I can help you achieve really where you're supposed to go next? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you need something before you start working with. So that's the benefit of being in a community of women who really, they understand their value. They know they're good at what they do, right? A lot of 20, 30, 40-year-old career specialists, but they've always had to either shield what they know because they didn't have the voice. They didn't think their voice was worth anything, or they, question it. And it's an interesting dynamic to come into a community where we really do want people speaking up. Like, we want to challenge them to share who they are and what they do.
Yeah. I always looked at sales as helping. I've been in sales my whole adult life. I've sold so many different things in the real world as well as online. And I never liked the word selling because it always had that connotation of, I'm going to manipulate you into making a decision that's only in my best interest. And that didn't feel right to me. So I always termed it as, I'm going to help you. And if I can help you really good, I know you're going to pay me. And if I can't help you, I probably have somebody I can connect you with that can help you. And I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. It is, for us in the industry, the type of work that we sell around, for the most part, it's about helping really achieve clarity. It's about helping somebody decide that this problem or challenge that they're experiencing is worth the investment, is worth the commitment, and is worth the vulnerableness or vulnerability they have to possess to really get out of it. And if that's the case, then they're clear. Sometimes they're clear on the problem, but not the solution. And sometimes they're clear on the problem and the solution. And sometimes they're clear on the problem and the solution, but they're not committed enough to really make it worthwhile. Because who wants to actually have somebody buy a program and then never use it?
Yeah.
So
that sucks a lot. Because you spend a lot of time creating the program and you want them to get the best results.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. It sucks.
So thank you, Abigail. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to share with the audience today?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think 2024 is the year of the collaboration. So I think it's the new business currency. I think it's just a perfect evolution for women business owners who want to be, who are driven and successful, and they just don't want to feel like they're alone and isolated, as so many are.
Yeah. And whether you collaborate with somebody or not, just being among other people that are open to the idea of collaboration is just like, it's a windfall as far as resources. I mean, these people have amazing ideas.
Amazing ideas, amazing resources, amazing solutions. Everybody, again, has their own little wheelhouse. So how many wheels does it take to run a car? If you added up all the wheels that were in a car, it's not one, right? The steering wheel without the wheels on a tire, around a tire, don't get you anywhere. The tires don't get you anywhere without the wheel of the steering wheel. So, and then there's, I'm sure, a ton of wheels that are in the engine and other
gears.
parts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So think of it this way. I mean, I don't think any of us are meant to truly do everything on our own, because in this day and age, you just can't. It's almost a physical impossibility, so that's my perspective.
I've coined a new word. It's called coopetition. And it's not about competing with each other, but cooperating with each other, being the best we can be in our own right, and be centered and grounded in what it is that our strengths are, but being able to really appreciate what others' strengths are, and that they
Yes,
what they bring to the table is valuable, and respecting that
exactly.
and working
Yeah,
together.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Thank you so much for having me on, Jill. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and getting to know you as well.
It has been a pleasure chatting with you too, Abigail. Thank you for joining me.
Oh,
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.